How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk. We basically discussed everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. This is our third freaking time doing this because internet issues and everything, and somehow my camera wants to work for Zoom apparently now. So I'm gonna just take that as a sign. So basically, Cosplay Con Talk, get to know the cosplayer. I am, every week I am joined by a cosplay guest where we get to learn about the cosplayer, the cons they've gone to, the cosplays they've done, advice they have, and experiences, and also talking about future conventions and cosplays that they will be doing. And for this episode, you may have seen them from my artist interview from last year. I am joined by my good friend Vespid Creates. How are we doing, Vespid?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad that we got the internet connection fixed. I'm so glad my camera is now working for Zoom, so I'll be keeping Zoom
This
apparently now.
this is great. We love it.
This is great. This is fun. We're gonna have a good time. So, as I've asked probably the third time now, what was your very first convention and how long have you been cosplaying for?
All right, yeah. I've been cosplaying in the community for at least 6 years. Like I feel like it's longer, but I think like my roommate and I, because that's how I got into cosplay, was like my roommate and I got into it together. Um, like we were in college and we were like, do you want to try cosplay? Yeah, I want to try cosplay, but I don't want to do it by myself. Do you want to do it together? Um, and so like that's how we got into cosplay. And the first con we went to, I think was Dallas Fan Expo, pretty sure, which is a comic convention. Yeah.
And I remember you telling me that the cast of Ruby was down there and that you and your friend you did Yang and your friend did Blake
Yeah, that's correct.
from
The
the
voice
first
actors,
from part
sorry.
one.
Yes, from part one.
Okay, part Yang part one. Okay, before she lost her arm. Spoilers.
Correct, yes. What have you done?
Oh, this show's been up for years now. If you haven't seen it, that's that is on you. But I do not judge if you've not
That's
seen the
right.
show. So Fan Expo, or as most places would be originally called, whatever at the time, what nowadays would be originally what was Wizard World.
Was
Because
it Wizard World?
well, up in some places, here in Oregon, Fan Expo was once known as Wizard World, depending on where you
Oh,
live
okay.
in the world or here in the States. Fan Expo, what was that like when you and your friend first went 6 years ago?
Oh man. Yeah, it was very busy. Uh, because like Dallas Fan Expo it has the most like mass appeal because it's focusing on comics and like DC, Marvel. Like the one year that we went, like I think they had like some of the actors from the Rocky Horror Picture Show movie.
Ooh.
Um so like yeah, there was a wide variety of stuff, so it attracts a lot of different fans. Um Lots of Star Wars, superheroes, and uh around the time, like there were definitely some anime cosplays, but I hadn't really watched any anime at the time, so I didn't really know any of the characters. Um but yeah, it was crazy fun. Like I was definitely overwhelmed, but like uh my roommate and I were so excited to be there, and people recognized our costumes and would like, it's Blake and Ruby, or it's Blake and Yang. Come up and like want to take pictures with us. And it's like, oh wow, this is so much fun. We should do more of this.
Nice. For those who may not be familiar with it, um, um, well, no, I already answered that question. Sorry, brain slowly working.
You know.
Um, how many cons have you been to altogether in the past 6 years, if you can remember? If you can
Oh,
remember.
oh my God. I'll try to answer that question not with like a number, but kind of a visual graph. Okay. So
That
like
that's that hey, that works. That counts.
whenever I first started, it's like there was a really steep incline, right? So like the first year it was like, okay, we maybe went to like two conventions. And then after that, we were like, this is the most fun ever. And so we started going to more. So over the like next couple of years, I think it was like, I want to say like the year after that was like three conventions. And then after that, it was like five conventions. And then uh like I remember 2019 was like the most conventions I had done
Well, yeah, because
in.
after that there was
Mhm.
hmm,
Yeah, so
we
like
do not speak of the name.
the before times.
Hmm.
But like I think in 2019 because like I had gotten so into it and like I was doing panels and I was starting to like be a guest cosplayer and stuff.
Ooh.
Um like I was going to at least one convention every month, but sometimes I would have two conventions a month. So add that up. That was at
You were
least 12
busy that
conventions a
year.
year.
You were busy that
I had
you were busy.
I had so much fun, but it was very tiring.
Oh, I bet. Damn. So a new question I've been starting asking, because back then I would just ask, advice for those who are going to their first con. I'm going to be splitting that into two questions. So first one, advice for non-cosplayers going to their first convention.
Just going to their first convention, like not in cosplay, or like they want to get into cosplay.
Not basically con attendees, like advice for con
Okay, yeah.
attendees, and then after that, advice for cosplayers who are wanting to go to their first convention. So first one,
Okay.
advice for non-cosplaying attendees.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, I think my first advice is just like, um, do your research beforehand, because you might be sad about missing out on like events that are happening at the convention if you haven't looked up the schedule first. Because it's really easy to just like wander around and look at all the merch and the sometimes autograph signings, whatever. Like you want to make sure you look beforehand and like figure out what you want to do. And then specifically about cosplayers, like interacting with cosplayers at a convention, because like I know that if you see your favorite character, like someone's cosplaying your favorite character, like the first thing you want to do is like take a picture of them. But it's really creepy if you just take a picture. You need to ask. That's my
Hmm.
big that's my big advice because ever since I first started cosplaying, like people who just seem to not know better. Like they're not, I don't think they're trying to be creepy or anything, but like they will just take pictures of someone whenever, like candid shots of cosplayers in the halls. Um, and imagine if that happened to you. You look nice, you got your costume on and stuff. You don't want someone to just take a picture of you like eating a snack with like your wig off or like so like ask a cosplayer so that they can get into a fun pose for you and like your picture will be better too. So
Yeah, I don't think someone in like a just like you said, a random cosplay. Like, I don't think someone wants to see, you know, someone like a Sephiroth cosplayer eating a sandwich or something.
right.
You know,
Like it's just polite. Like I've had some people say, "Oh, it's not illegal to take pictures of you." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not nice."
cosplay does not equal consent. And as I always put it, um, and also sure you can also for both cosplayers and con goers, make sure they have a set budget.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Some advice that I should probably give myself, but I don't.
Ooh, but I want the shiny thing. I want the giant body pillow of of my favorite waifu.
Conventions are the place where I get to just make impulse purchases for 2.5 days.
Oh, I know, and I'm sure you can always agree when it comes to Artist Alley, always support your local artists who are selling their merch too, because they definitely have to compete with the mass-produced stuff as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can meet a lot of really cool artists at conventions. That's one of my favorite parts about going to the convention, other than like cosplaying in the cosplay community.
Nice. Now, another new question I'm going to start asking. When booking, have you cosplayed out of state? Gone to cons out of state?
Yes, yes. I went to one convention out of state.
Nice.
Um, and I only went because I had been accepted as a panelist, and it's the only convention that is just Steven Universe themed. Um,
Ooh, I want to go now.
yeah, it was so fun. It was very small, uh, but like, Dee Dee was there like the whole time, and like she would come and like sing songs with us and just like hang out. It was a great time.
And is that the one you went as for as Peridot for?
Yes, yeah. And I've worn
Ooh,
Peridot like several
nice.
times, but that's like whenever I had like my costume like all together and like finished
Nice.
for her.
So now, now I have to say thank you for this one. Now another new question. For those for those who want to travel out of state or out of the country for cons, what advice would you like to give for traveling out of state or out of country?
I mean, I think your budget is gonna be even more important. Um, and like I actually enjoy the process of like looking up hotels, figuring out how to get there, all that stuff. Um, if you haven't traveled out of state before at all, or traveled for a convention at all, like start on the convention webpage because typically they have some uh affiliation or like discount for hotels that are like right next to the convention.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so you can usually like book your hotels directly through the like website link. And then you'll also get a discount. So that's great.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah.
definitely. And I know so
And
go wait, what was that? Sorry.
oh, I don't know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something along the lines of, oh, and you'll know that you won't be in the wrong place because it's gone right through the convention center, website. That was all I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, no. And I know some cons, if you book a hotel through the con, you'll get a discount on your tickets as well.
Sometimes it's not super common in Texas, but like I've seen that at other conventions for sure. There's also like there's some conventions where you can like also get a flight discount, but I feel like that's very rare now.
I've never
Um,
heard of that.
yeah, I remember looking for like Transformers Con one year, TF Con, uh,
God, all these cons
and
I've never heard about. So that's why I love this. That's why I love this series. I'm always finding about these new cons.
oh yeah, if you want to hear about cons, I'm always looking at different cons because they're just so much fun. Um, but yeah, like Transformers Con, like they had like a package where you could like book a flight and hotel, but like I don't know how long that lasted. I don't think it is like that anymore just because flights are so kind of unreliable.
Oh,
So that would be my other advice is like if you know you want to travel out of state for convention, um, get a flight as soon as you know that you're gonna go.
oh.
Um,
If you can get your tickets in advance because some cons tickets can
yes.
go like that.
Oh yeah, and that's okay. So here's another tip just in general for going to conventions. Like if you've heard about a con that you really want to go to, like for example, everyone loves KatsuCon, like that's a big one. Um, like a lot of cons, if you know that you want to go to it like a year before, like almost a year before, right? They start releasing tickets like pretty early in the year. Um, and they'll usually be at like certain discount tiers, depending on how early you get your tickets. So like as it gets closer to the con, like the tickets get more expensive, and you
Oh
can usually
yeah.
get like a really good deal if you get those like really early.
Oh yeah, no. Speaking of cons, um, what has been your favorite con so far?
Hmm. This one's always fun because it has changed like three times. Um, yeah. I in general I have found that I like smaller conventions. Um, and I prefer anime conventions over comic
And
conventions.
there is nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their own, favorite type of
Yeah,
cons.
it's a different community, I feel like. like no shade to other types of conventions at all, but like I found that like with comic conventions, like I don't really fit into that cosplay scene as much because a lot of people are a lot and this is generalizing. I'm not saying this is 100% true. This is my experience, but um my experience has been like people are very serious about their cosplays and it being accurate and like stuff like that typically at comic conventions that I've been to. And that's just not it brings on some anxiety in me.
That's totally understandable. And
Yeah.
there are times where comic book and anime conventions will like, collide, will like they'll not collide, but they'll like combine. So, people are cosplaying as you'll see one minute you'll see Superman, the next minute you'll see Lloyd Forger from Spy Family.
Yeah. And that's why I love anime conventions, at least in like Texas, because that's like all the conventions I go to are in Texas. Like the anime convention scene is like that's just where you go if you're a nerd and you like to cosplay. So like it's cartoons, it's comics, it's video games, and anime as well. And if you don't have your costume exactly right, like you might have a couple of people who are like on their high horse about it, but a lot of people are just like, "Hey, good costume. I like that show."
Nice. And I know one of the biggest conventions in Texas is RTX.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been to RTX. Did I go twice? I think I did go twice.
Lucky.
Ugh.
I'm not jealous. What? Just kidding.
I would say I don't super recommend it. It's a lot of money for kind of a lackluster experience, in my opinion.
And that's just one person's opinion. For those who are listening, do not take offense to that. Everyone has their own opinion, and as
Hmm.
I always say, there is nothing wrong with that. So, um,
Oh yeah, yeah. So my favorite
yeah,
convention. Sorry,
favorite.
I didn't get to my favorite one. Um, I feel like it has become. Oh, I feel like it's got to be. It's a convention called Anime Fest
I've
in the
heard of
summer.
I've heard of that. I've heard of it from a
Yeah,
few Texas cosplayers I've talked to on here.
yeah. That one is really amazing because it's a long running con. Like it's been around for a long, long time. But it manages to still have that like small convention feel, where everybody's like chatting and partying and um, and they still have it like in the same hotel that they've had it in for years. Um, so like that also just shows you like how good the community is because like it can be a red flag if a convention is hopping hotels a whole lot, because that means that they might not be doing well with like their contract with the hotels, right? So they might have to keep hopping around. This place has been running their convention for so many years, and every year it is just a solidly good experience. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
See, no, I see. Like if a con stayed at the same location for a long time, like you said, it means that one, it's a good place, and two, it also shows that the people running the convention, have good relations with the location as well.
Yes, and I think that's super important, because like it, if the con doesn't have people that are running it well, then the whole thing like that's the bones of a convention. So uh it won't be a fun experience if like the people who are running it are not doing a good job. So
No, and that right there will let people, yeah, I don't want to go to that con.
mhm.
Next question. So this interview will be out. I gotta check the schedule on here. So your interview will be so you'll be the first cosplay guest in June. Um, by the time this is out, what cons will you have gone to and what cons will you be going to?
This is a good question. Do you mind if I have kind of a long response to this one?
If you can make it just a little short but not too long.
Little short? Okay, not too long. Okay. So I told you like up till 2019, it was just like ramping up in the amount of cons I went to. Then of course, zero. Well, actually, I went to one in 2020, because I went in like February before everything
Oh, before the Fire
like shut
Nation
down.
attacked.
Yes. Um, And that was my first time being a cosplay contest judge, which I was very not qualified for.
Oh.
Like it was a great time. I had a great time. And all the other judges treated me like very well and like with respect, despite the fact that like I shouldn't have been a judge.
S-
Um,
So it sounds
it was
like
a
you
good
were
time.
invited as a you were it sounds like you were invited as a guest cosplayer.
I was a guest and a cosplay contest judge because like those are definitely different things, at
Oh,
least in this community here.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Um
So like I had a table and I was like selling prints and stuff, but then like I also sat in on the cosplay contest.
that actually brings a good question. Yeah, so cons you will have attended and you will be attending.
Okay. Um, so I went to one in 2020, right? And then it just nothing for the rest of the year. And then 2021, I was like, okay, once things are okay, because there was a time where it was like, oh, maybe we can go outside again. Um, and that was like I went to a convention in December. Um, and it was right before I think Delta or Omicron came out. so that was exciting. Um, and so like this last year I went to two conventions. I went to Anime Fest and I went to Anime Frontier. This year I'm also going to go to Anime Frontier and Anime Fest. Um, but I'd also like to go to some new conventions that are popping up in the area. Um, I've always wanted to go to an 18 and up convention.
Oh, waifu, that's right. Waifu Expo's coming up this year in
That's
March.
right. Yeah,
And
so
EchiCon just happened too, like last year.
yes. So I heard that EchiCon is like a lot of fun. But that like so I have a lot of friends in the like they're either professional cosplayers or they go to a bunch of conventions to like win money in contests or they like actually are hired to like help run conventions. And they've gone to Ecchi a couple of times and I have some friends that they have started and organized and like have gotten Waifu Expo off the ground. Um, and so like Etchy is kind of far from me because I'm in North Texas and Etchy's closer to Austin. Um, Texas is so big that's a 4 hour drive from where I'm at.
Ooh, so you're close. You're
Um,
more closer to waifu since it's in the Dallas area.
yes, absolutely. So I'm definitely
Nice,
gonna go to that one. And then I've heard some really good things about WeebCon, which is in its second or third year.
nice.
Um, So it's pretty new. And they're holding it at like a really big, pretty hotel. And so like I'm really interested to go because of the location and like possible like photo shoot opportunities there.
Nice, nice, nice. So
Oh, but yeah,
now,
so wait, hold
oh,
on. Hold on. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Wait. You asked one more question and that was like, what have you gone to before? Like, do you want me to list all of the conventions
No,
that
no.
I've gone to?
So the question I meant was, what conventions will you be going to for
Uh-huh.
2023, and then what conventions do you plan on going to for 2023? That's what I meant by the question.
Okay, cool. I got it. Yeah, we're doing great.
All right, so you already answered that. I can't wait to hear what your experience is at Waifu Expo. I'm like I'm like considering on trying to get a hold of them for an interview.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I've seen who's going to be there. I'm like, I wish I was closer.
Yeah, they've got some amazing guests.
Oh, I've heard. So next thing, you said you were a cosplay guest and also a judge. One thing I want to
Yeah.
ask, because you've actually done both. What advice would you want to give for someone who wants to be a cosplay guest, and what advice would you want to give to someone who is, going to be a cosplay judge, since you've had the experience of doing both at the same con?
Yeah. I think for both, the main advice is like don't go into cosplay like that being your only goal is to be a famous cosplayer because what makes you a good guest and like one that people want to bring back or invite or whatever maybe give you money for a hotel room like if you want to have like these perks or like be known in the community like the first thing that you want to have is like a passion for cosplay and like a passion for the community and have like something that you can share with people. So like that's my advice is like enjoy the craft first before you even think about trying to go that direction. Uh, because that's the way that you build, a following. That's the way that you integrate into the community. Um, all like I have a lot of friends who are like cosplay guests and stuff all the time, and then I know some people that like I don't get along with very well because like they only go for the status or and that's my personal opinion. No shade.
Nothing wrong
People
with
need to
that.
get their bag. Yeah. Get your money. Absolutely, queen. Get it. Um, but if you don't love, cosplaying, like I feel like that does show to like conventions whenever you are being considered as a guest. So that's my first advice.
No, and no,
Um,
there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like I know sometimes a con, and the reason why I feel, and this is, and I'm not no hate or anything, but I know sometimes they'll like have a cosplay guest who may not know anything about cosplay contest, but they'll invite them on as a special guest judge.
yeah, exactly.
Like
And it's not a good look.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. We're not shaming anyone who wants to have special guest cosplayers for a cosplay
Oh yeah,
contest.
absolutely.
No, there's no shame. Don't at me. Don't hate me. Don't cancel me. Um,
But yeah, so that's my main advice. And then like if you're wanting to do judging specifically, um, before you start applying to be a contest judge, start winning cosplay contests. Like that's how you're gonna show your skill and like what you're doing if you are already have the history of competing and like winning awards in contests. And this is coming from someone who has only like placed in one contest because I never enter them.
nothing wrong with that.
um yeah, like I'm not in the competing community, and that's why I feel like I wasn't a good judge
Mm.
selection for the convention that I went to. So that's my advice for people who want to be a judge or apply to be a judge or get invited to be a judge is um, be excited about competing and have the experience of competing at least for a year and like have multiple awards under your belt. I feel like that's the way to go.
Oh yeah, no, and that will be way before this is out. Before this is out, there will be a podcast where I'll be joined by cosplay judges who have done both competing and judging in a segment called being a cosplay contest judge. So that will be some helpful advice for those who want to consider on being a cosplay contest judge.
Heck yeah.
So now on to my favorite part, the cosplays. So, for anyone who's familiar with with this part of the segment, words speak. Um, what's that one cosplay that you've not done in so long that you would like to bring back?
Oh, that's such a good question. Hmm. I would really like to do like it's not a specific cosplay, but I haven't cosplayed from Gravity Falls in a long time.
Oh, sorry, you did Bill
Um,
Cipher, huh?
so I have not done Bill
Oh,
Cipher actually,
who was the one that you
but
did?
I've done Dipper, like his original outfit, and then I did Dippy Fresh, which
Oh,
is
which is a photo of the thumbnail for this.
yes,
Okay, I saw that
yeah,
picture. It's like, why does that look so familiar? And then I was like, the hair, the
yes,
hat, like, I haven't watched much
yeah.
Gravity Falls, but I imagine TP Fresh, that's one of his personas in the show.
Yeah, it's like not to give anything away, but like the show's got all about like paranormal stuff and like it's a construct of Dipper that his sister creates, being like the cool brother that she doesn't
Oh,
have because Dipper's like the nerdy brother. Yes, there it is.
the 90s glasses, though, I love it.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that character, I was like, I have to cosplay him.
Oh, so it's a split personality thing. Not a split personality, but
Yeah,
like a clone. Okay.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow. Basically, cool
yeah.
dipper.
Yeah, it's cool Dipper. Um,
Flip
but
a
like
dip dip. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I did a couple of Gravity Falls panels where I would dress up as either Dipper or Dippy Fresh, and it was super fun. Um, but like
Nice.
I would like to do a Bill Cipher cosplay. I know there's been a lot of Bill Cipher cosplays out there, but like cringe is dead, and I'm living my best cringe and like happy life, and I just want to do an angsty, like edgy Bill Cipher
Ooh,
cosplay with
that'd
like the
be cool.
swept bangs over the eyes and like everything.
It's just a phase, Mom.
That's right.
I love it. I can't wait to see that. Um, Now another one. As I call him, what's been your one and done cosplay? It was a cosplay you did once. It didn't fit the vibe at the time, but given the right time and moment, you would probably want to do again.
It's also a good question. It's like I'm trying to think. So one of my one and dones was I did Near from Death Note. Um and I don't even
Who's he
what were you gonna
again?
say?
I can't remember.
Oh,
Continue. I'm looking them up right now.
uh in the anime he's got white hair. He's like L's successor.
Oh, he's the one who
Um
wears the white pajamas. Or
yes.
is that
Yeah.
Mello?
No, Mellow's the one that's like an edgy, like he's got black outfit and like the orange cropped hair.
I
He
can't
eats
remember which one.
chocolate, like that's his thing.
Okay, yeah, near. Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, for I'll be showing a bigger picture. Wow. Yeah, I remember seeing people do cosplays of him back in like when I was still in high school.
There he is. I did that for one convention. Um, but I would love to revisit it because at the time, like I literally just like thrifted some baggy clothes from the thrift store and got a cheap Amazon wig. And I'm like, I could actually have a lot more fun with it now. And I love his character because I too am baby and like to play with toys. So
Man, yeah, I haven't seen people cosplay as near since 2010, and that shows my age. And oh God, yeah. Um, Now, what has been your all-time favorite, or as I call it, your comfort cosplay? No matter the time of year, what the convention you enjoy cosplaying them.
see, the problem is I do have a comfort cosplay. However, Texas is unbelievably hot.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah, because my Mothman cosplay is the one that is
Ah,
nearest and dearest to my heart.
Mothman.
Um, yes, like I made him completely from scratch. Like,
I remember seeing pictures of that, and and I'm gonna say my one F word. That's gonna be a hot motherfucker. That is
it
my
is
one F word,
very
people.
warm. We have the
That's my
one.
one. That's my one F word.
Um, but yeah, I installed like fans in the head. Like I tried my best to make it not unbearably hot. But in the summer in Texas, like even if I only wear him indoors, um, somehow I am still just like sweating
Oh,
buckets the whole time.
jeez. That's just
Uh, it's hard, but whenever I put on my Mothman costume, I'm like, this is who I am actually. I am Mothman. Mothman is me.
now. I'm kind of curious. What was the process that went into Mothman, especially the red eyes?
Oh yeah. Well, the head is a foam base, sort of like what furries will construct whenever they're making like their fursuits. But it's like very simple. It's like a just a dome shape. Um, and so the eyes are actually the first iteration, because I've like improved him over time. The first iteration of the eyes were like cheap, like push lights, that you put batteries in and you just push the top of it and it turns on. Uh you can like get these puck lights at like Walmart or whatever. I feel like that's where I got mine.
I have heard of those.
Yeah, so like I had a little remote control for it so I could, turn them to red,
Ooh.
or make them all sorts of colors. Like there's a video of like I'm at one of the like electronic music parties at one of the conventions, and like I've made them strobe. So like
Oh,
going a bunch of different colors and like
if you
flashing.
have video of that, please send that because I want to show people that. That
Oh
sounds
yeah,
really
sure,
cool.
sure. I'll send it to you if I can find it. Um, so, but I that worked okay. But again, that cosplay is a container for my sweat. And so the problem with battery powered anything is that moisture and batteries don't mix.
Oh no,
Um,
that's how corrosion happens.
yeah, so like the first time the lights gave out and like I took apart the head and like was gonna replace it, I was like, oh, I can't do this again because the batteries are completely corroded. Um, not safe. So now it's actually they're USB LED lights.
Ooh, I've seen people
Yeah.
use a lot more of those for like their for cosplays they want to have lights on, like their armored cosplays.
Yes. And they have
Nice.
like a plastic translucent cover on the lights because there's like a ring of like 6 red lights or something, but then the translucent plastic it like
Ooh,
diffuses it. Um
nice.
yeah, and it's a lot brighter than the puck lights were and a lot more reliable because like I have pockets in the suit to put battery packs in, like the rechargeable ones. Um so like
Clever.
I can just plug them into those and like they'll run for a whole day.
Nice. Now, his Mothman, speaking of big build cosplays, is Mothman the only big build you've ever done?
Yes. Yeah, that's got to be my biggest one. Like I'm working on a giant prop uh on and off currently, and that'll be the biggest thing I've ever made.
What is
Um
what is the prop? And will it be done by the time this comes out to be
oh
shown?
man, I hope so, but I have no promises.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I have no clue if it'll be done. Like honestly, like I keep being like, "Oh, I'm gonna have it done for this con." Well, it's not
Oh,
done yet. I guess it'll be the next one.
there's always those ones where people are like, yeah, I'll do it for this con. 2 months later, it'll be for this con. 3 months later, it'll be
Yeah.
ready for this con. 2 years later, it's still not done.
It's like I promise it will be so good when I do finish it eventually, maybe one day. Um
If you want to share it, what is it gonna be?
yeah, so I've already made my Blitzo cosplay from Hell of a Boss. Um
Which is my favorite.
yes, I really love wearing him. Like he is probably the second like comfort cosplay for me just 'cause like I love his character. Um but like the there's one episode where he has a giant bazooka and it's only shown for like a couple of
Oh,
seconds.
is that season one?
Yes. Yeah.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's this giant obnoxious green gun. Um and the side of it says uh actually I don't know if this isn't counted as a swear word, I don't think.
Um,
Um are you
God.
looking it up? Are you looking it up?
I'm gonna show a picture because I feel like and the two main letters are blocked off.
There you go. It's perfect. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's got the green and the navy blue. Yeah. So I'm making
That's
it,
a big boy.
yeah, I'm not making it quite to scale because then it would be like 3 times the size of me. Um and I just don't think that's practical at all. Um so it's just a little bit taller than me whenever it's put together.
Nice. Are you
So
gonna do like the rocket itself? I can't remember what the rocket says when it shoots out.
it's also funny, and yes, I do want to make the rocket as well. I'm not sure how
Oh,
I'm going to like
I just saw what it says, and I cannot say that word on this. I can't. This is a PG-13 show. I can't say that word. I mean, I mean, even like the word penis. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like
eh,
an iffy word. I just said it, so I'm sorry. I may have to bleep that out. That's gonna be a cool prop to see with your blitz, though. So have you used his flintlock as a prop?
no. I actually have never constructed any guns.
So this will be your first,
Like
and you're like, I'm gonna go big on this one.
I'm going big. I'm like, because
Oh.
in my head, I was like, well, it's simple shapes, right? Like it's
Mhm.
cylinders mostly.
Similar circles, and then an egg-shaped rocket that says a word I can't say because
Yeah.
children may be hearing this.
Listen, Hell of a Boss is an adult show, so like children do not
Mm,
watch it.
or cosplay. Be careful, but younger, 17, 8, 17, 16. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing once you get it done, because I've known that the Hell of Boston has been hotel cosplay community has like expanded ever since,
Do you want me to send you a picture of what the progress so far if
Yeah,
you
if
want
you
to include it?
if you have like progress photos, feel free to show that.
Yeah, because it's in my storage closet right now, so it's too big to like store in my apartment all the time. It just gets in the way.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to ask, how long? So three questions about Mothman.
Yeah.
How long did he take? How much did he weigh? And was it easy to go to the bathroom in that thing?
Oh man. Um, so how long it took to make I tend to work on big costumes like that in quick spurts, with like long periods of like not doing anything. So like I made the head in 2020, just the head. Um, and that took like I want to say all together with like patterning the fur and like doing the hardware and everything. It probably took over 12 hours, put it all together. Uh, because I usually do like hour-long working sessions, but it might have been longer because the antenna gave me a lot of issues. Um, and then during did you hear about the Texas like snowmageddon when it happened, like the big ice
I
storm and everything?
did not.
Oh, okay. It was 2021 in January or February. It was January or February, and like it was
No.
a very serious thing. Like it has a fun name, but oh, my light just turned off.
I'll be showing
It's fine.
I'll be showing a bigger picture, but for those who that is just so I would just like hate to go to a con at dark and just like see that. I think it'd be cool, but it would also scare the shit out of me.
It's so funny because I've worn him to like a Renaissance festival,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, about that.
I went all day. So like during the daytime, people were like, "Oh, she's so cute," and then as soon as the sun went down, everybody was like, "Ah, don't come near me. It's too scary." But yeah, I think so. I worked in it for like a bunch of time whenever I was basically iced into my home, um, and then 2022, like right before my birthday, I like woke up out of my sleep and I was like, I have to make this cosplay better. I have to finish it. And like I made the wings and everything. So like put together, it's like it was a lot of work in just short spurts, but it was like over a period of like 3 years. Um, but overall, like maybe only like a couple of weeks altogether
If
of
you
work.
if
Yeah.
you edit all the time, that's not bad. But for such a so yeah. Also, how much did it weigh? Wearing and were you able to go to the bathroom in that thing?
So it's not very heavy. I've never weighed it. I don't have a scale. So I'm not sure how much he weighs. Um, I know that whenever all the battery packs are in the head, it can get a little bit heavy on my neck. Um, but the rest of the costume is like I tried to make it as light as possible. Um, so like the construction, like it all comes together to look like one big suit. But it's actually
Wait,
like black pants with
that's all separate.
yeah, it's all separate pieces.
Damn,
Yeah.
props to you
So it's
on
like
that.
a head, a tunic with like fur trim at the bottom, and then pants with fur trim on that. And then the wings are separate. Like I wear them like it has arm sleeves that I put them into.
Oh,
Um
nice.
yeah,
I've seen that technique before.
yeah. So it's all separate pieces. And I tried to every part of the costume that like you couldn't see because it was covered up by something else. I tried to do like a very thin fabric so that it wasn't going to be too heavy and it wouldn't be too hot. It's still too hot. Um, it's like wearing multiple blankets at once. Um, but I did my best. So he's not heavy. And it's pretty easy to go to the bathroom as long as I like have someone to like I have to take off the head and take off the wings. Um, so I have to have whoever my handler is like I give them the head. I struggle out of the wings because they're like fused to my arms from all the sweat that is accumulated in there. Hand them off to my poor handler who is like, "Great, thanks for the damp items." And And from there, it's really easy because it's just pants and a shirt. So
That's good. So now, since you're like one of few people who make big build cosplays, what advice would you want to give to someone who's like says, no, I don't want my first cosplay to be simple. I want to like go big for my first cosplay. What advice would you like to give for people who want to do like a big build cosplay as their first cosplay?
oh man, it's funny because I've really only done the one, so it's generous to give me the title of making big builds because I've really only done the one.
Well,
Um,
I still count it, honestly.
I mean that's great, but I will say that one of my close friends that like in my little cosplay group, like for a while it was like four of us where we go to like conventions together, and they went that route. Like they went, I'm not gonna do a simple costume. I'm gonna go big, and they went big ever since. Like big builds every single time.
Oh wow.
Um, so I know from watching it be done that you can do that. Um, my advice would be definitely look up the price of all of your materials first. Because if you buy as you go with big builds, you could very quickly make it very expensive, and then it might not even turn out how you want it to if you're doing it for your first time. Uh, so that would be my first advice. Look up to see if other people have cosplayed the same thing, because oftentimes they will have like a work in progress, or like they'll have tips, or they'll be able to tell you if you ask them like, what did you use as like your base materials, you know? Because then that'll at least help you get started. Um, and then my third piece of advice is your first cosplay, whether it's big or small, um, it's gonna be your first time doing it. Like, so I'm not gonna say like, oh, like you can't make a really good cosplay for your first cosplay. Like, technically you could, but it'll still be your first one. It's probably not gonna be as good as you want it to be, and you have to like prepare yourself for that reality because that's typically how it goes. It's like prepare yourself to be proud of a finished product, no matter what it looks like.
Hey, that's some sound advice. Now, a question I forgot to ask because I forgot to ask it when I did Antman's podcast, which I still have to say thank you for recommending him back
Oh
when I
yeah.
did his makeup artist interview. It's a question I forgot to ask, and it's a question I somehow always forget to ask. Um, advice for cosplayers for who want to get into this hobby, for her on a budget. What kind of recommendations would you give? Like, would you recommend, start simple, thrift stores, stuff like that? Like advice and recommendations for
Yeah.
cosplayers on a budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Like whenever I first started cosplaying, like I was college full time and working part time. So I had very few dollars to my name. Um, and so like there's a whole like section or like category of cosplaying called closet cosplaying, which is just you look at the clothes and accessory that you already have, and you find characters that like even if it's not 100% like that character, like you can still give the impression of that character, like it's still pretty close. Um, and so like that's where I would start. Like I didn't really know about gosh, cosplay. I just said the word closet
Closet
cosplay.
cosplay.
I was like, hey, words.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I didn't know about that, and so like I was trying to like buy fabric even though like I didn't really have it in the budget, stuff like that. Um, so like yeah, definitely see like what you already have first of all. Um, and then if you don't have anything that you think will work for characters that you like, I think definitely thrift stores are the next place to go because that's like even now like that's where I go if I want to get like why make a basic t-shirt for a character if you could just buy a basic t-shirt? Like it's probably going to be cheaper, it's going to be easier. Like use your skill to make other like more elaborate parts of the costume like uh so like for beginner cosplayers or people who are on a budget, like see what you have already, and then thrift stores are going to be your friend. And also uh you can look at these communities online, and there are buy nothing groups. um and if you're in these buy nothing groups, like one thing that people get rid of a lot is like clothes. um And so like people will just be like, hey, I'm gonna donate all of this to Goodwill, but like if someone wants it, you can have it for free. Like there's a way to get like a bunch of stuff that you can pick through for cosplays. So
Oh yeah,
that's my advice.
that's some pretty sound advice. Now on to the next question is something I actually started asking after the cosplay questions. Future cosplays you're currently working on, or cosplays that you will be doing for the year, or and also okay, let me rephrase that.
Hmm,
A cosplay you're working on, a cosplay you're
okay.
gonna be doing, and then
Mhm.
your dream cosplay.
Oh man. Okay. Um, so I have ADHD, so I'm gonna probably forget one of these. So first one is one that I've done. I forget.
So
I've already forgotten.
the first one, a cosplay that you're gonna be doing this year.
Oh, gonna be doing this year. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, so I'm gonna be doing some of the same costumes because Blitz, I'm adding a prop, so like it'll be the same costume, won't be a new one. Um, but I would like to do this year a Transformers cosplay of some kind.
Ooh.
Um, yeah.
Anyone,
Uh,
any Autobots or Decepticons in particular?
Starscream is my favorite. So I would love to do like a casual Starscream, like maybe closet
Ooh.
cosplay adjacent,
Like a humanoid?
humanized. Yeah, like a
I
humanized.
can see a
Mhm.
humanoid Starscream. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes, I've always wanted to cosplay him. He's my favorite. I have like an Ida bag that's just like Starscream themed.
I
I've
think I've seen your
loved him
picture of
for
that on
so long.
Instagram. Nice.
Yes, it's a crown shaped bag because he's a prince.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd love to do Starscream, but I'm definitely going more into like just creative projects in general this year. So I think a lot of my cosplays are going to be reused or upgraded. Um,
There's nothing wrong with that. It saves you money
yeah,
too, and
but
time.
I do want to make a I want to make a full suit this year. I want to make an entire fursuit. At least I want to make like arms, legs, head, and like torso. Um, like I'll see if I can do the whole thing, but like I would love to try my hand at that.
Can't wait to see that. And
Oh, and then the last one was, oh, sorry, the second one.
so the second one, actually you kind of talked about that. A cosplay you are working on for this year.
Oh yeah. So like currently the only thing I'm working on is that gun prop.
I
Um
can't wait to see that.
and
Uh,
it's literally like I will buy supplies for it and I'm like, all right, time to sit down and like start working on this thing. And because it's so big, I always underestimate like how much I need to buy for it. So it's like I keep putting it away because like, oh, I ran out of plaster. Oh, I ran out of paint.
Now I gotta ask, are you gonna put the stickers on the one that's on the rocket itself, and then are you gonna put the one that is on the gun itself? I can't say, but are you gonna have them blurred
Yes.
out, or are you actually gonna have them say what they're supposed to
I'm
say?
I'm gonna have them on there. Of course, for like conventions that are for all ages, like I'll have to see what their rules are. Um, but like, yeah, I'm gonna make it not censored. Um, but I'll probably, if I do have to censor it for some reason, I'm probably just gonna have like um some comical way of like obscuring it. Like maybe if I got like a big no sign or something that I could like stick to it. Um, like the pixelated like censor thing.
Like the black bar, like black
Yeah,
bar.
I could like put a black bar over it. Yeah.
No, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And last but not least, your dream cosplay is a character you've always wanted to do, but you've never got the chance to do it.
Oh man. Can I give you two?
You can give me two. That's okay.
Okay. Because like I think the first or second year of cosplaying, like I've been wanting to do this cosplay for a long time. But I just don't feel confident in my skills to actually go through with making it. Have you seen Repo the Genetic Opera?
I have seen, yeah, I've seen, yes, I have seen that.
Okay, great. I want to cosplay the Repo Man. I want to cosplay Nathan in his full getup.
Ooh, that'd be pretty
I have
cool.
that's been my dream for so long, but like the materials are expensive. Um, and it requires like the lighting inside and like man, it's gonna be a lot of work and I'm not confident with my skills as it is now. with finishing that one.
Let me see if I can't find a. So for those who are wondering, this is what the suit looks like, and you could probably get away with the same method you used for Mothman.
Maybe.
That's a
Uh,
lot. You're gonna be sweating in that thing, though. That's a lot of
yeah,
leather.
I need to move to a colder state. Like Texas is not treating me well. Um, especially since I want to do fursuits and stuff too. So yeah, so that was my first dream. And then my second dream is I really want to do it's a transformer and okay, sorry, it was my guinea pigs. I got distracted. There's a sound in the background. Um
Aw.
so if you hear a little like crunching or tapping
I
sound,
I love I
those are my
love
guinea pigs.
I love guinea pigs. Anyway, you said
But yeah,
Transformer?
yes. So if you want to look this up, it's arachnid. So it's the word arachnid, but it's AIR. You spell it like in the air because she's a helicopter. Um, arachnid from the Transformers Prime series.
Oh, I've seen her before. She's got a creepy
Yeah.
design, but
Ah, it's such a dream. I've never done
oh
like armor builds before.
wow.
Um,
Um
and I would
oh
want to
wow.
do like the moving arms. I would want to do like, uh the mechanical part of it, like make the arms move, and I would want to like um, do the full like armor. Um, so it would be a lot of work and again expensive materials, but I've been wanting to do that for so long.
Oh wow, jeez, yeah, that's all right. Now moving on. Just some more of my favorite questions. These are actually probably my two favorite questions. Cosplay mishaps. A cosplay of yours that ripped, broke, snapped, shattered, anything that could happen did happen, whether it's getting ready for the con or while at the con.
Yeah, so because the way I make costumes and cosplays is like don't be me. Do your research before you start making a costume. I tend to not start something unless I just go for it. Like I will keep stalling out. So like a lot of my costumes are trial and error, and sometimes they just error to the point where I just don't pick them up again. um, and whenever you're talking about this, like it just made me think of one cosplay in particular, and it was my first attempt at Peridot. Um, because that was the most, first of all, the most uncomfortable cosplay I've ever worn. Um, and I had made it from like a hacked up morph suit and like, gosh, I can't remember what else I made. I like used this tank top. It was like a bunch of pieces that were like sort of melded together. Um, but the base of the costume was too small. Um, but I didn't have money at the time. So I was like, well, I've bought this thing and I don't have money to get another thing. So I'm just like, whatever, I'll just stretch it and like it'll be fine. Um, that costume was like constantly, so it's the base of it is like a jumpsuit. Um, where it's like it's got straps on your shoulders and then it's like over the hips and like into the groin area. And what it was doing is like on my shoulders, it was just constantly pulling down
Oof.
um to the point of where like I would be sore after I took it off because it was like pulling on my shoulders all day. And so like I would be like, "Hey, Becca, that's my roommate, my good cosplay friend." Um, we would like go off to the side. I'm like, "Can you please yank on my jumpsuit?" And she would literally like grab the straps of it and start just yanking up on it to try and like stretch them out because I was in so much pain. Yeah, so that would be that's the cosplay mishap that comes to mind is literally just every like hour or so being like, "Oh my God, I'm hurting so bad. Please, Becca, can you yank on my costume?" And she would just go and like
Oh,
pick me up basically and just yank on this costume.
that's never fun.
Yeah.
Um, Now another question is also my favorite. I've actually kind of added on to this one. Cosplay awkward convention, weird horror story moments. Like it just kind of made you
Oh
like,
man.
did that actually just happen? Yeah, that happened. I don't know how, but that was weird.
Oh man. Because there's a lot of people at conventions, you will run into that situation eventually. Uh it just will happen to you. And like I'm trying to think of one that's like not just a downer to talk about. Because like, ugh. Okay, I'll say this was okay. This was awkward. So I was doing a Gravity Falls panel, um, and I had done this panel like several times, and like I knew how to run it. I was not, you know, I didn't have any problems with that. I would be in character as Dipper or Dippy Fresh, um, and like the style of the panel was just basically a like trivia game show type thing.
Ooh, I love those.
Um, yeah, so like it's real simple and like, you know, audience participation, lots of fun. Um, they would get a prize at the end and then like Becca would be dressed up as Mabel and so like she would give people stickers at the like everybody got stickers. Um, and I did it at this one convention and for the life of me I don't remember which convention it was, but like um usually whenever I do that panel, you know, it's more geared towards kids because it is like a cartoon. I think it's actually a Disney show, but like it's for kids.
Yeah,
And so they usually put me like,
Gravity Falls is Disney.
yeah, okay, yeah, it's Disney. So like usually the time block I'm in is uh like during like midday, like afternoon, like typically that's where they put it. Um, for some reason at this convention, like they put my panel at like 9 p.m.
Ooh,
Um,
after hours.
which is yeah, so I'm like, okay, I mean, but that's fine. I get a free badge for doing my panels, so whatever. Um, so kids still came to the panel. Great, fine. However, they decided that it would be really funny if they just were hitting on my character the whole time. Which I'm an adult.
No,
So me trying to stay in character and then also go, hey kids, that's not cool, was a very awkward and fine line to try and dance, try to walk along because I was like, it was so awkward because it's like I'm trying to be nice and like still have them have an enjoyable panel experience while also firmly being like, don't flirt with me. That's not good.
you're a
Don't do that.
child.
That's probably one of the most awkward situations was like, oh, because afterwards I was like, I don't think I can do this panel anymore.
Hey, and that's totally understandable. I think, you know, and this is like some advice if, you know, after hours, I think like the younger kids, like anyone under the age of 18 should not be at the con because sometimes after hours are usually more adult oriented.
I mean, and honestly, like if you are a minor, because like you're at a con, you're gonna do your own thing regardless of what people tell you. Um, if you're gonna do that, remember that the people running the panels are typically almost always adults, and they are not the characters that they are playing. There's a person in there, and so just like you can have fun, but like be respectful. Don't be rude.
No, please don't. No. Don't ruin the fun for everyone else.
Exactly.
Now another one, as you know, I think this is always a fan favorite. Your favorite convention moment, like to this day, you'll never forget it because it was like the best thing that ever happened to you at a con.
Oh man, my memory is so bad. I'm gonna have to like think for a second because like I've had a lot of really good experiences at conventions.
Even if it's a more recent one.
Yeah, I have to think. Let's see. Yeah, actually, yeah. This is my most one of my most recents. So it was last year at Anime Fest. I think was one of the best times. One of my favorite moments in my con going history. Um, because I've always wanted to bring my finished Mothman cosplay on the cosplay contest stage. Um, and so I was actually able to so at that convention you have to be from an anime or like other Japanese or yeah, Japanese entertainment to actually compete. But they have a category of like you can just show off your costume and it was called like strut your stuff or something like that. And it was so amazing because like, you know, people were going in front of me and like everyone was clapping and everyone had great costumes. And then, you know, the announcer was like, the man, the moth, the legend, it's Mothman. And it was such a fun experience going up there and like being in character and people just like losing their minds uh while I'm like flapping my wings and like it was just so good. And I got to see like the pictures and stuff afterwards. I think that was like one of my favorite moments.
Nice. I can tell Mothman is always going to be a fan favorite for anyone who, because
Oh yeah.
you don't, I mean, you see Mothmans, but you don't see many that like the one you did. At least from what I've seen, I haven't seen many
It's
iterations of the
it's a
version you did.
commitment to put that amount of work into it. Let's just say that.
Oh, I wholeheartedly believe it. Man, you actually answered a good chunk of the questions I'm going to ask. We've been going on for an hour now almost. I guess the last question is before we end this. Any last minute advice for those who are listening and are watching this?
Um, Always remember that the point is to have fun. Um, so if you're not having fun, then don't do it. Like some people they get so into like cosplaying or whatever, like they get swept up into the perhaps the drama of it or oh, I have to keep up with like the most recent like most popular characters, like it starts to become stressful instead of enjoyable. Maybe you've got cosplay groups where oh, I have to be this character for this group. If it's stressing you out and you're not having fun anymore, like go back to what was fun for you. The point is have fun, choose characters you love. Um if you're not enjoying the process, like that's not good. Like have fun making it, have fun wearing it. That's my advice. Have fun. Life's too short. Have fun.
Hey, I cannot argue with that logic. So lastly, before we do this, would you care to promote yourself so people can find you on your socials?
Currently, I am really only on Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram at Vespid Creates. That's where I'll be posting all of my cosplay stuff. It's turned into a place where I post all of my creative projects that I'm doing because I tend to hop between different types of art, whether it's cosplay or makeup, or right now I'm making random jewelry. So you'll see all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, that go to my Instagram, Vespid Creates. That's where I'm at these days.
Nice. And links to all those will be in the description below. And also, as mentioned, be sure to check out their makeup artist interview from last year. Again, Vespid, it's a pleasure having you on. Can't wait to see the cons you go to this year. Cannot wait to hear what about the cosplays you'll be doing. I'm especially looking forward to seeing Blitzos Rocket eventually. I can't wait to hear how that comes out. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It's been so fun.
of course. And as always, I'm Way the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.